Hello, welcome to this update for North America. So let's see what's happening. First, let's start with the most urgent thing because I should have talked about this before, but it's already happening there in Atlantic Canada. There's this very big non-tropical low pressure system near Newfoundland and Labrador, especially Newfoundland and Saint Pierre and Miquelon, and it's a quite strong feature. The GFS like 947 millibars with this extratropical cyclone. So this will bring some very damaging winds to spots of Atlantic Canada today, especially Tuesday night, today into Wednesday, especially in wind gusts. So that those are just the winds. If we check the wind gusts here, the European model, we can see like some wind gusts well above 114 km per gust there in Newfoundland, a few spots there across the peninsula, and also Saint Pierre and Miquelon, like even to 121 km per gust in Saint Pierre, possible. And this is already like it's already happening. So now it's around noon Tuesday at the time of making this, and it's already very strong winds there. So by the time you watch this, it might be even worse, or it might be over by the time you watch. But does show there like later today, like this afternoon and tonight, even 134 km per gust, not few areas there. It shows like even to 103. So please stay safe. 110 km per gust still in Saint Pierre. There's the icon as well. It's even stronger in a few spots, but very similar to the European as well. There's the GFS. It's like the GFS is generally weaker, but similar. So please stay safe in those areas. And also, it'll be quite breezy the northeastern US into Nova Scotia. Northeastern US, not nearly as much, but like now, it's still pretty windy across Maine, a few spots there, let's see miles per hour. So the show occasional gusts in a few spots, New Hampshire, New York, to New England above 50 miles per hour. And let's see here. Good. So later this afternoon, they will start diminishing, especially because this is going further out to sea. And but especially still remains in Canada, they're quite strong. So let's see like tonight. So this is like tonight about 10 p.m. So still in the Avalon Peninsula, a few areas to 134 km per gust because the center of low pressure is still just offshore to the north, and shows like a few spots, some 87 km per gust, some 104. So please stay safe. Some hazards associated with this might be a lot of tree damage, some rough surf, like extremely high waves. Treat this like if you had like storm surge, like a tropical cyclone. It's not tropical, but it might have some storm surge as well because of how strong this is. This is probably a bomb cyclone, and then this goal shows during the night into tomorrow morning, still strong. It's not over yet when you wake up, but still shows like Nova Scotia, especially on the northwestern side, facing the oceans, some stronger gusts. Then Wednesday afternoon, this is still not gone. It's still lingering around in the North Atlantic. Still some gusts in northern Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. So please be aware. Wednesday and Thursday finally starts diminishing. You have a quick break Thursday before the next system comes in with strong gusts from Nova Scotia Thursday afternoon, New England, and a few spots like into Friday, yet again in Labrador and Newfoundland. So be careful this next system Thursday and Friday, especially throughout the northeastern US and Atlantic Canada, because even before it goes into Canada, Thursday, like Thursday morning, Wednesday night, shows a few spots there in the Great Lakes, even to 60 mile per gust on the European, in the Appalachians, 55. Then this goes, might be pretty strong, the winds there near Massachusetts, spots in Rhode Island. So please be aware. New Hampshire, especially for further offshore, even like 75 mile per gust, 68 in Cape Cod. So please be careful in those areas. And then Thursday, Friday, Friday this goes away and still watching some future stuff, but nothing else that important for after this. So please be aware, stay safe, and please be careful because this bomb cyclone's coming in right now towards you in Newfoundland, and it might cause some significant damage. So please be careful. And they only have orange warnings here for rainfall and high water level because of the wind, but they might end up having some red warnings, but for now it's still orange. Like strong winds that may cause damage are expected in those areas. Some AH 110 Premier Pargus along the coast tonight through Wednesdays. So please stay safe in those areas and be careful. In terms of rainfall, it might also be heavy in a few areas. If I put next 5 days until like Sunday shows a few spots to 74 millimeters, 75, Nova Scotia even 77 from this system, especially those back-to-back ones, the one today, another one Thursday. So be careful those areas and stay safe the rain as well. The US does show still some wind advisories there in the northeast and offshore as well because of this. And so some wind warnings are in the west and high wind watches in Montana. So be aware because of those Pacific cold fronts might be quite strong as well in California. And there's like a flood watch there and some red flag warnings there across the central high plains through Nebraska. And there's a guy here that I don't see for a long time, a winter storm watch in northern Montana. So things might start getting juicy, but still small. This like actual winter weather advisory, high wind watch, and hazardous weather outlook. So just in those mountains, northernmost Montana, winter weather advisory. So be aware and let's see here along the west coast shows all the way from Alaska to central California. More rain, special along Oregon, Northern California, some higher totals. So be careful. In inches, next 5 days, close to 5 inches, the European model, some 5.4, 5.5 inches. So be careful in those areas, especially some localized flash flooding that's possible in Northern California, a few spots there in Oregon as well, Washington. And be careful across Canada, some areas there to like 160 millimeters along the coast, British Columbia, and more into Alaska. So be aware. And let's see the snow, especially in Canada, there'll be more, but take a look at this, alright? It shows some good snow in spots of the Rockies there. So shows like in the US, even some 23 inches next 5 days, the European model. 24 inches, spots in Oregon, 18 inches. There in northern Montana, you likely start happening sooner because of the wind weather advisory, but show like just some 6, 7 inches and a few spots even down to Colorado next 5 days, spots in Wyoming. So this is until Sunday and today's Tuesday. So if I just put it until Friday, shows there in Wyoming, right? Some in California and the Sierra Nevada next 3 days or so. It shows there across northern Washington as well, so even to 15 inches or more. But between Friday and Sunday, already shows snow actually in the lower elevation, starting as well in the high plains, like northern plains, not high. So shows like Minnesota, the upper Midwest as well, in Wisconsin, a finger or two, like 1 inch, possible some 2 inches, North Dakota, and spots still in the Rockies between Friday and Sunday, some snow possible. So be aware in those areas, and this is a true sign of winter. And then later, like next 6 days, even shows in the Appalachians, like until next Tuesday. So next 6, 7 days, exactly a week from today, shows in the Appalachians, even some in Tennessee. I don't know if this is realistic because that's too far south still, but still watching. But expect some in the northeast in Maine as well next weekend, maybe in the far northern New England there. And this is until Friday. Already shows there like southern Maine, not far south, but like western Maine, some 8 inches. And especially like Thursday, Wednesday, and today's Tuesday, so Wednesday until Thursday, this might happen there, Maine, like literally tomorrow. So be aware. The GFS is even more northern New York as well. And take a look at this, that the GFS is a full-fledged early winter storm in the upper Midwest, like 7 inches. But let's just put until like Friday. It doesn't show anything until Friday, just far northern Minnesota. But between Friday and Sunday is when you need to watch in the Midwest. So be aware, the icon is also like snow in the same areas, goes all the way from Canada to northern Illinois on the icon. And these other models are not long range, but please be aware there. And from the latest model guidance, snow is definitely coming to both New England and the upper Midwest. So get ready for winter because it's already almost here. And then moving on to Canada shows like a few areas there. British Columbia is even close to 100 centimeters in the mountains, some 60 centimeters, 70 in the some other areas in the north, and shows the lower elevations, some 6 centimeters, 5 centimeters. In the south, it's mainly in the Rockies, but shows like some 22 centimeters, 30, 36, most of it in British Columbia, but some in the Rockies in Alberta too. In Alberta, might be the same clipper that brings the snow to the upper Midwest, shows it goes through Alberta, more close to 20 centimeters, goes down to Saskatchewan and then to the US. So it might cause some snow in Manitoba too, and then Saskatchewan, especially our central Alberta and to southern Manitoba and Saskatchewan. And we'll check the timeline of this in a second. It might be probably to the end of this week, to this weekend. But moving on north shows more snow into Yukon, especially southern Yukon and into the mountains, and shows like spots northern territories, northwestern territories, northern Nunavut, most of Nunavut, in fact, and spots in the Hudson Bay. But practically like 90% of Yukon might have at least a centimeter of snow the next 5 days. Be aware, in Alaska shows some 3, 4 inches, spots in southern Alaska even to like 4 inches. So be aware in those areas, the mountains, like even 70 inches in the southern mountains. So be aware, western Alaska is less 0.4, 0, some western portions there, but central inland Alaska might have more. So be aware. And most of eastern Canada might already have snow, so 24 centimeters, 20. The European model showing nearly 90% of Quebec with snow in the next 5 days, even 55 centimeters the north, basically 100% on Labrador, 94 centimeters in the north, to some 6 centimeters in the south, and in some areas 67 centimeters. But let's just put it until Friday. So just until Friday, today's Tuesday, you can expect spots central Quebec, especially along the Hudson Bay, with some lake effect, and shows more further north in Quebec and spots in Labrador, spots in the south as well, like close to the U.S. there, and some spots central southern Quebec, but few spots still nothing. But with this system in New England in Newfoundland now, it might bring snow on the backside of this deep low pressure system in Newfoundland now. You will have snow on the backside, even to 47 centimeters and 42 centimeters, so be careful. A little bit in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, will have a little bit as well. But if I put it until Sunday, already shows most of Quebec some snow and a big portion of Ontario too, as far south as Toronto. Toronto itself doesn't show that much, just like 0.1, but does show a little bit further north. So be aware, in central Ontario there. So the GFS is similar, shows like most of Quebec, into Labrador and Newfoundland, some more snow. And spots there across northern Manitoba and to southern Manitoba, those areas too. So stay safe, be careful in those areas. So in eastern Canada, shows today, Tuesday, this deep low pressure system, right? Some mixed precipitation there in Newfoundland and to Labrador, and some snow scared in Quebec Tuesday, there into Wednesday. So Wednesday morning still shows some snow in Labrador, even still some in Newfoundland there, and central northern Quebec Wednesday, still some snow left. Take a look at this system that emerges from the Great Lakes in Ontario. We'll have some mixed precipitation Wednesday, and you'll start giving some snow to New England Thursday, there into Atlantic Canada as well. So Thursday, more snow spots in New England and into eastern, central eastern Canada. And then Friday, this goes out into the Atlantic, but still some snow left there in northeasternmost Canada. So be aware. And now for western portions, shows already like Tuesday. Today, this strong cold from the Pacific, some heavy rain in Western Oregon, Northern California, and later Wednesday starts in British Columbia and shows some snow there in the Rockies, especially like northern Washington to British Columbia, and some localized freezing rain in a few mountains, and still heavy, possible some thunderstorms in Northern California as well. So be aware. Wednesday, this goes, some snow the Sierra Nevada in California, and more rain throughout Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia, and more snow in the mountains there. So Wednesday, Thursday still shows like this is the icon. It shows some snow spreading into Alberta, British Columbia, and spots, especially in the Rockies, but it goes all the way to Saskatchewan. Let's switch to the European because it shows some slight possibility of freezing rain in Alberta Thursday as well. So Thursday night, still some rain along the west coast and some snow goes all the way from Yukon to Manitoba. The snow Thursday and maybe later Thursday into Friday through Ontario and Quebec. This moves on with snow there and a storm or two in the Midwest Friday. Saturday shows the small clipper of snow in North Dakota, possibly still in Alberta, Saskatchewan, some snow Saturday, Sunday, and possibly another big one in Alaska, British Columbia next Sunday. But still watching. Here's the scenario of the GFS. This front in California is right upon you, and Washington and Oregon with some heavy rain starting tomorrow morning. So stay safe and more snow, especially into British Columbia, northern Washington, even northernmost Idaho. Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday, and some more in Montana. So be aware. And then Thursday still shows for like spots of northern British Columbia and Alberta, Saskatchewan, some snow, and the Rockies there in the US. And then Friday, the GFS like a part of it to central Canada and the northernmost plains in the US. And then Saturday has this clipper, the upper Midwest with snow. So be aware. And another big one into the Pacific Sunday. So still watching. This will still change 1,000 times, but most of these scenarios, the models are very confident on. So just be prepared for these weather events and be aware. And there's another important thing here, like let's go back to North America. So shows here some temperatures, especially like some below average temperatures, few spots in northern Canada, but the US still above average in a few areas. So let's pick the European maybe. Shows like the seriously still shows Central US slightly above average November 4, but there's this cold wave coming down from Canada behind those troughs, and then this goes some below average temperatures into the northeast and central Canada. Then this goes and might come to the central US by November 8th. Saturday shows like that area of below average temperatures behind that trough, and this might cause that snow there this weekend, those below average temperatures. Take a look at this. The Europeans like much below average temperatures, central eastern US by Monday, November 10th, and above average in western US and western Canada. So this, I know it's still mid-fall, but it might be the first significant cold snap of the season, and and the below average temperatures go all the way down to Florida. So this goes and like maybe some above average right after that, some below below average near the west coast. But what I showed you, like the last few frames for the west coast, still very far. But this cold wave on Saturday is highly likely. So please be aware that this is potentially coming, and we'll keep watching. There in Canada still shows like some minus 12 degrees Celsius all the way to minus 24, some minus 27 the Arctic, and spots there in eastern Canada, some negative temperatures at night, but still not extreme. In the Rockies, some negative temperatures, and this is Wednesday morning. What I'm showing you, and then this goes deeper into the early morning hours, shows this negative temperature spread further into Saskatchewan, Manitoba, spots there in most of Alberta under negative temperatures. The Pacific coast saves itself, but the inland areas very cold. Newfoundland there's negative temperatures too. So Wednesday afternoon, the maximum temperatures aren't even that high. Take a look at this. Still remains negative temperatures through central Canada. The extreme south near the U.S. border is above freezing, but the other area is still very cold, so I hope you have your very strong jackets. It shows like spots north and northwestern territories, even minus 29 degrees Celsius. Remember the wind chills, they are much colder than that. And stay safe. Wednesday night into Thursday morning, this cold comes as far south as Minnesota and shows like spots central Canada, some minus 6, some minus 14, into spots of Nunavut, some minus 20, northwestern territories, even colder, just far southwestern Canada, that's warmer, but shows like a few spots there. Yukon, deep under negative temperatures, and eastern Canada is still better, but already some frost at night, and most of Ontario very cold, but far southern Ontario is much better. So Thursday, the early morning hours on Thursday should get even colder. Most of Ontario, most of Quebec as well, except the far south and spots there in Western Canada. The far south, no, but most of the Western territories show like some minus 28. Northwestern territory still, Nunavut. So please be careful. Thursday, Friday dives deeper into Atlantic Canada, those cold temperatures. So between Wednesday and Friday, you should have a sharp drop in temperatures in Eastern Canada. So be careful. And then Friday shows like the afternoon warms up slightly. Southern Ontario might be up to 12 degrees, but still cold. Most of Ontario and Quebec shows some minus 9, some minus 13, most of central Canada. So be careful. Then Friday night into Saturday morning, this cold wave comes down further south, and then show like still Nunavut minus 28 degrees Celsius possibly. The GFS is slightly different because each model is slightly different, but this is the general consensus. So most of Western Canada deep under negative temperatures, just like I would say Vancouver still above freezing, but the rest very cold Saturday, Sunday, and still most of central to eastern Canada very cold except on the coast on the east there. But please stay safe in those areas, and this information will still change as well. So now in the US, I prefer this map here. Let's see. Tuesday afternoon, the maximum temperatures does show some May eastern Texas, believe it or not, spots in southern Arizona, and alright, some is in the mountains there in the north. The maximum temperatures, so the minimum temperatures are right at the 20s. Northern Plains, spots of 24, 28 degrees Fahrenheit there in the north. Northeast, some 30s, 20s as well. And some far is as far south as Georgia, there in the mountains in the west, show like some 30s, 20s in the higher terrain. Day two, maximum temperatures, especially Wednesday afternoon. Even still some 88 in Arizona, some 89 in central Texas. So still quite warm there, but some far is 50s there in the far north. So the minimum temperature is Thursday morning. Yet again, the Midwest 28, 30 degrees Fahrenheit, might be even in the low 20s spots in northern Minnesota. Some 30s already going to the Midwest. Spots there in the Northeast, some 30s, high 20s, and spots in the Rockies, especially the highest elevations there might be below freezing, but the rest is still quite fine. So shows like for Thursday afternoon, still cold in the Rockies, even some higher spots to 30s during the day and 20s. It shows like some 89 in Texas, Arizona, Florida. Still quite warm in those areas, but enjoy it while it's here because it's about to change and show like some 40s, 30s in the Northeast in some localized spots. And then like during the night on Friday morning, November 7th, shows like some 27, the Northeast 26, likely to 24 or even less, some spots in northern Vermont. So please be careful in the Appalachians, some 30s already. Even New York might be in the 30s, 20s. New York City, maybe some 40s, high 30s, but the rest much colder. The northern plains still in the 20s, 30s. Texas, some 60s during the night, Florida too, and like show spots in the west, and some active temperatures beyond the mountains now, some 30s, 20s spread out, and more 30s, and as far south as New Mexico, some colder temperatures in the mountains, even outside the mountains, but especially in the mountains, in Colorado, much colder as well. So now for Saturday after Friday afternoon shows like this is the maximum temperatures and already showing some 30s as maximum temperatures. So that's an important warning sign. But still some maximum temperatures close to 90 degrees in southern Texas. So they are in summer and North Dakota is in winter. Very interesting. But still some 70s in the south, spots in Arizona, some 80s, and already some cold temperatures during the day in the high elevations, the Rockies. But Saturday morning, everything starts changing. Shows some 20s, some low 20s, maybe even to like some high teens in northern Minnesota for Saturday morning. Spots there in the Rockies, well in the teens in the mountains, spots in Idaho, there into Wyoming, some high, some teens, 20s, and some 30s around as well. More spots to Arizona, the high elevations, Nevada, California. So be aware, some 40s as far south as northern Texas, and spots there in the northeast, still some 30s, 40s. So be aware, Saturday afternoon, don't expect much warmth if you are in the north, still some 30s, and in the Rockies doesn't warm up much either, but does warm some. In Texas and Florida, still enjoying some 80s there in Arizona, Southern California, some 70s in the mid-south. So be aware, but Sunday morning, here comes the real cold, 16 degrees Fahrenheit in North Dakota, possibly even to 15, the first time this season. So I really recommend you get your boots. So please be aware and like spots as far south as Oklahoma, some 30s, the Panhandle in Texas, northern Oklahoma into Kansas, but especially in the Midwest, like some 20s, teens there, Minnesota, Wisconsin, to North Dakota, South Dakota, much of Montana, mostly in the 20s, 30s, and teens in Montana, spots in Wyoming. So please stay safe. Show spots there across the Northeast and 30s. So please be careful and stay strong because this will come out of nowhere and shows there spots in the mountains in the west, still some 20s, teens in the higher terrain. And Sunday afternoon doesn't warm up much. There's like some 30s still below freezing during the day in the far north. You can see clearly like where the cold front is, this difference in temperature as it heads further south, but still warming far southern Texas and Florida and Arizona. So some 40s, 50s during the day, spots in the Midwest, plains. And next night into Monday morning, the 10th, shows around 15 to 14 degrees Fahrenheit in North Dakota. That's very chilling. Some 30s already spreading to northern Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, spots in the Appalachians, Northeast, the Midwest deep into the 20s, and even teens further north. And the Southwest still cozy, but the rest in the Rockies already some 30s to teens and 20s colder there. So be careful. And during the day on Monday, still shows some winter is in the Appalachians, so already much colder. Spots in the north still, but spots in the south there, especially Arizona, still warm and creeping to the plains slightly warmer. So be careful in those areas. And like here's some X-Wingas quite strong in the west. I had the front today, even like 60 to 70 plus mile per hour gusts in Oregon, interior Northern California today. In the northeast, quite breezy because of that system. But be careful along the west, those strong winds there. And in the tropics, mostly quiet. In the Eastern Pacific, quiet as well. And especially like still nothing the next 7 days. The European ensembles are practically empty, just a member or two from some tropical, decayed tropical waves there in the intertropical convergence zone, but like barely nothing. There are a few lost members in Central America still, but the chances now are getting lower and lower. So let's just check the Google AI model to see if it has any surprises in the next 300 hours. So just like a member or two near Panama in Costa Rica, but like this, just two members, and there are more than 50. So for now, don't worry about the tropics. We have entered like winter mode in the tropics, but you never know. It's still November. There might be something to eventually watch, but still nothing. So be aware. But let's check rainfall because that's important as well. It does show some heavy rain locally near the southern Gulf to the northern Yucatan next 5 days. Still a few storms around southern Mexico and all the way to South America. Spots in Panama, Costa Rica, those usual showers and storms. Just be careful with thunder, lightning, some gusty winds and heavy rain as usual for a few of those storms in Cuba, into Jamaica, some passing showers. Hopefully you are already recovering, but please still be careful. And spots in the Turks and Caicos, Dominican Republic does show slightly more rain in the eastern Windward Islands. A few spots 46 millimeters, a few spots there from some decayed tropical waves. And so still a little bit of rain. So be aware, but nothing very crazy. Just be aware as usual. So let's just check wind gusts again because there's like this area in southern Mexico that usually gets some high winds this time of year as well. That area across southern Mexico and sometimes in the Atlantic slightly breezier, but nothing out of the ordinary. So be aware. I showed the winds for eastern North America, but I haven't showed it for western areas. So Wednesday tomorrow shows today's Tuesday, so already late today, starting tomorrow Wednesday, shows those strong gusts there across the west, even like some 64 mile per gust in the European, and even higher some localized areas. Wednesday there shows the interior of California, still very high, a few spots in the interior of the west. Wednesday, Thursday in the Rockies, in the plains, still a few spots slightly stronger. Friday still shows some strong gusts in the Rockies, so be aware, especially in the 50s mile per gust potentially into the plains Saturday there as the trough dives down. So be aware and still watching. It shows like in Hudson Bay, Nunavut's quite breezy today, Tuesday, and there especially Wednesday and Thursday to British Columbia, especially along the coast, and Alaska along the coast, like stronger. And then Thursday, Friday still shows a few spots near the coast, British Columbia there into Washington, Oregon, but nothing that crazy. Just be aware, spots in southern Alaska, possibly slightly breezier a few days, slightly stronger. Then Friday, Saturday, possibly the bigger system next month, next Sunday in Pacific Canada, but still far. That's still far, but we'll keep watching and stay safe. Please be careful.